Good evening, everybody. Hell, this is weird. We used to do audio stuff, and now we're on the telly.
Well, we did a couple of Facebook Lives, to be fair, from a distance.
We did. Yes, that was entertaining. We'll see how this goes. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. PirateCast Live. Apparently, getting reports that the stream is up and everything's fine. Good evening, Jamie. He is in with us live tonight on the first official PirateCast Live. There he is. Evening, guys. Great to see you back online again.
Comments to Jamie. Good man. Lovely. Thanks for tuning in.
Nice one. Thank you very much, Jamie. If you are watching on the TV, it's a bit of a chore to try and get into the chat room. But if you're watching on any kind of mobile device, there is the option to live chat. You can talk to us, all sorts of stuff there. So we've got Mark Dale. He's there. Evening, guys, he says. Betty Lou is there as well. She says, hey. Everyone, we've got quite a few people tuning in. And Ben, it's great to be back.
Fantastic to be back. Yeah, we're a bit older, a bit grayer, a bit wiser, a bit more facial hair.
I don't know about the wiser.
Yeah, a bit achier.
That's why we're doing it.
Yeah. But, we felt the time was right. Things worked together. Lee's obviously put a lot of work in behind the scenes to get this professional stuff. Oh, look, I'm doing the back to feet again with my verse para. All this professional stuff here and down here and over there. So thank you very much for joining in. Thank you to Lee for all the hard work, and hope you enjoy the show, guys.
Absolutely. Just to give you a bit of a rundown, if you've not been a part of PirateCast before, lucky you. We did a Pool Pirates themed podcast. How many years ago was it? Probably.
I think the last episode was about 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
Yeah, probably about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Primarily did sort of podcast audio stuff. We did some live radio, that kind of thing as well. And it all sort of went really well. We got a nice following. In the meantime, since we stopped doing that, Ben has worked like an absolute trooper, keeping the PirateCast Twitter page up to date. And he does all the live scores. I'm not going to say faster than the official Pool Speedway site, but
I'm not.
That's
I'm
the case.
I'm not. And I am an addition to that service.
There you go.
Not a
that's
competitor.
it.
I am an addition. I
was going to get to that.
Yeah, I provide. So what I try and do, guys, if you don't follow us on Twitter, you're insane, quite frankly. I just provide some feedback around the races, some of the action that may have gone on. Primarily for people who can't attend for whatever reason. Geographically, I know it's sometimes difficult. I know we have quite a few Aussie fans who use that service as well. And that's why I do it. And believe me, it's not easy, particularly at the closed end of the season when you can't feel your fingers.
I can't feel my fingers when I'm with you, but I love it.
No, I'm not going to. Not yet. It's too early.
There we go. And Thoric Hammers, there we go. Definitely not as fast as Lakeside Live.
They were the inspiration. Thank you, guys, and thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely. Just to clarify, those of you who haven't been with us before, welcome to PirateCast. We are not affiliated with Pool Speedway. We don't work for Pool Speedway. We don't have any official credentials. We don't have any of the inside scoop or anything like that. But what we are Pirates fans, Pool Pirates fans. And we want to give you guys an open forum, somewhere for you guys to come and have a chat, listen to us talk crap about Speedway, some of the stuff that you don't get on the official channels. We're going to moan about the toilets on the Fourth Bend. Why have they not set a horror movie in the toilets on the Fourth Bend? Who knows?
Actually, I'm not going to lie. They were better than the Portaloo during the start of the season.
Okay.
That was down underneath the main stand because the bar was shut. Yeah, they were all right. They were good. Speaker on turn 3. I'll say that for Craig Hurl, who again I can see in the comments is here, whilst actually riding a Polish league meeting on the Fantasy Speedway League, used in conjunction with the game. And I've spoken to Lee, Craig, and we're hopefully going to get you on to do a bit on that.
That would be good, yeah. Because I used to play that game. I know there are some mods around of that game and the Kevlars that you could get. And long story, we'll get into that another time. But a pretty cool game, from what I understand. We'll get Craig on to talk about.
You figured out how to do it. I thought she was going to shout downstairs.
There she is. Mandy has figured out how to do it. Good to hear you guys.
PirateCast fan 000001 in conjunction with our Hans Anderson fan club.
Clive Tye says hello, boys. Not the first time he said. We are going to get to some Speedway in a minute. Yeah, if you're watching this right now, you're watching this on our YouTube channel. Best way to get over to that. If you're watching this on an archive or listening to it any other way, www.piratecast.live is the best way to get to it. Now, reason being, obviously, we do have a YouTube channel. At the moment, YouTube are doing this thing where they won't give you an official channel name until you've got 100 subscribers. So at the moment, I can't tell you go to youtube.com/PirateCast or anything. That doesn't exist because we need those 100 subscribers to be able to do that. So I've linked PirateCast.live to the YouTube page. So if you want to get to this YouTube page, just type that in and here you are.
And why is that? Because otherwise it's youtube.com/.
There we go. Fat Apples says, I hit the like button. First time here. Welcome to PirateCast.
What a great name. I love it.
If you want to check us out on Facebook, you can. Facebook.com/the PirateCast. On Twitter, we are at PirateCast. Make sure you shoot over when you've got a spare 5 minutes to shop.piratecast.live, and you can head on over there. I'm sticking it up on the screen at the moment. Is the link there? There's t-shirts, hoodies, all sorts of stuff available over there with 2 key logos. And for the next 12 hours, you can get PirateCast t-shirts for £10. £10. There is a bit of postage and packaging on top of that. We use a service called TeePublic. 2 designs there. The main PirateCast logo design, which I've got a t-shirt of here, and then another one, Eat, Sleep, PirateCast, Repeat. You can check that out over on the store at shop.piratecast.live. There we go. So lots of stuff to talk about, Ben. It's been a busy off season. I mean, it feels like 5 minutes since the season ended. And
I don't think it does to many fans, mate. I'm not going to lie.
No.
All the social media about why haven't we announced any riders and stuff like that. I'm not going to lie. Even I was going, oh my God, please kill me now. Please, can we just announce something or put an announcement out about an announcement?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think... Shall we? I mean, we've got a show plan here, and I'm already going to divert to it. And maybe we talk about the reasoning behind the delay in announcing a lot of the riders this year.
It's a good idea. We did obviously. I do elaborate on the social media channels as soon as I know of things. But obviously there was. I don't want to say a standoff.
Yeah,
but that could have been what it got to between Poole Speedway Promotion and the landlords of the stadium, and it was basically over a very I'm not going to go into figures, but a very unreasonable rent hike for the next season, considering there's no additional facilities being offered. The ones that are there, there's work that needs doing. We all know that. And obviously I can vouch firsthand after seeing it. Dan, Nige, I know Rob helps out as well. Alan, all the guys, all the volunteers, they pretty much have to do everything themselves that they can without the stadium's involvement. Obviously the things like the speaker, that sort of thing, that is the stadium. And I know it's being fed back. So, quite rightly, they didn't want to announce the team, even though they'd agreed contracts with riders until all of that had been sorted.
Yeah. And, it's difficult, especially when you're seeing, announcements pretty much from the end of last season with riders being signed to teams and, teams that are, competing against us, the same division. And a lot of people didn't quite understand, why we couldn't announce those. But it wasn't fair to raise hopes if anything did go completely up Swanee and cause a problem and not allowed to have the 22 season.
But to be fair, we've never announced the whole squad altogether anyway. And actually, as soon as it was said, things are resolved, signings are coming soon. I was very surprised at how quick the whole team were announced, because Matt and Dan normally Matt especially likes to pad it out because obviously they keep the local media on board and it keeps Poole Pirates featured in a town where you've got a championship football club who are doing very well this season. It keeps them featured in the press throughout without having to drum up a story. And I understand that and I get that. And I personally don't understand why a lot of other clubs don't do that. I know they want to appease the fans want to know.
Yeah.
But if everyone did it, I think it would be beneficial for all, personally. What do you guys
absolutely
think?
Yeah, I mean, let us know in the chat room. Lots of people. I mean, we've got quite a few people watching us right now. No pressure or anything. But yeah, let us know. We want your comments in the chat room. As you know, we can put up comments on the screen. There we go, with Mandy laughing because of what
I think Michelle's would be a valid one to bring up as well. So if you are watching through the Twitter link straight off, you actually need to be on the YouTube app to be able to comment.
Yeah. Okay. So if you've got that link, click it. If it asks you whether or not you want to open it with YouTube, then go for it. Hopefully within the coming weeks. If you guys can subscribe, that would be great, because that will give us a proper YouTube name, and you can go to youtube.com/PirateCast or whatever we choose it to be. So there we go. But yeah, it's been an interesting off season. But it was good to sort of finally get to have the announcements. Everyone else sort of building teams around us, and we were, I think, one of the last teams to sort of actually put announce a reasonable amount of riders, which understand the circumstances. But it's frustrating when all you want to do is have the team there on paper and start making your predictions for the 2022 seasons. So shall we flip it over and start to have a look at the squad then?
Let's do it. Do your magic.
Yeah, do your magic. Right, hopefully I can get this to work.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
There we
Seamless.
go. Laser beams. Yeah.
And I'll get the little PirateCast logo out the back. There we go. So the 2022 Pool Pirates, obviously the first two guys that were announced were, of course, Danny King and Steve Worrell returning to the Pirates. Stupid thing for me to ask, Ben, but good move, bad move? Happy to see him back?
Superb move. I'll be honest. I know that most of the squad was sort of openly inferred on social media before they were announced. I, for one, was very surprised that Steve Worrell was coming back, particularly after what he achieved with us, and obviously he's travelling as well. I know he's switched clubs in the Premiership for next season, but he's still got a way to travel. But I have to say, Pool have really upped their game with the rider announcements, and those first two rider announcements that were done in conjunction with Speedway Portal were done very well. I really like them. I thought we may have got some more, but I understand geography, etc., can stand in the way. But personally, I think our rider announcements are second only to Glasgow right now, and I think they're the ones that take the lead. And they did something very clever by having charities to follow. And you found out a bit about a charity before the rider was revealed. I really like that. But
yeah,
back to the subject. Steve Worrell and Danny King, with Rory retiring, it was a no-brainer. If we could sign those guys, they 100% needed to be back on board. Both of them were just stunning all season.
Phenomenal. There is a message from Fat Apples in the chat there. I have some comments. One being, do you think Pool are missing a trick with no live streaming like Glasgow did last year? I personally do. Again, this kind of ties in nicely, as you mentioned, with the rider announcements there, and Glasgow really are.
Sorry, just want to interject. Your positioning of your t-shirt against my background is almost spot on. How weird is that?
There we go. Yeah.
But I agree. And Fat Apples, I think even Paul have picked up on that. We were very fortunate enough to attend a dinner at the end of the season. And Matt and Dan were we spent some good time talking to them. It was fantastic. Had a really good chat with them, and they've understood it. And Matt was always very hesitant about that side of things because he wants bums on seats in the stadium. Always has done. That's the income stream. But I think they quickly realised through the difficult start to the season how pivotal that live stream can be. And from what I understand, and although nothing's been announced, I believe there are talks of doing it in-house for the whole season. This season. I haven't heard any more of that, but that was the goal for 2022. Whether it will be all meetings, I'm not entirely sure. And I know that I did mention sort of pricing structures around what everyone was doing, what we were doing, and where the sort of medium was. So watch this space, but I believe what Paul are looking to do is get some guys who can do it full-time in-house, do it well, and I believe they are looking at Speedway Portal to do that, because Matt did infer that he had a private stream for the playoff final that was streamed. So
inferred, nothing was confirmed.
Him, Darcy, and there was somebody else as well. But him and Darcy primarily got to watch the playoff final from trackside. And that was sort of Matt's revelation moment of how good it was and how real it felt. Plus, it is an income revenue for fans overseas because there's no boundaries. Well, at the moment, there's no boundaries. There's no sort of geofencing restrictions. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, in some ways, you talk about 10 years ago, Sky Sports had, their fingers all over British Speedway, and certainly, when it comes to Pool, that they were very restricted with what sort of media they could do and what they were allowed to do, what they weren't allowed to do. And I think now we're sort of championship level, and a lot of these agreements have expired. And at the end of the day, it is 2022. There's no reason we shouldn't be doing this sort of live streaming thing. I mean, we can do it from home. It's pretty straightforward. It's just whether or not those agreements are in place, whether or not we're allowed to do it. And from what we understand, it's all a go. So
And the other side of it is, unfortunately, the way it was structured by the Go Speed or whatever the sort of overseeing company was, because I remember speaking to the Glasgow promoters indirectly a few seasons back now, so I don't think it's the current promotion, and I was saying, why can't you guys are really trying, I know that we're really trying, but why can't we get like the highlight reels that Sky put together and BT put together? And apparently it was more red tape than getting planning permission for something, which is crazy. That package, surely, although they're broadcasting the product, there must be some way of getting hold of those montages. And yes, I know that Lee's put some together. I've done some as well, which we can do off YouTube very, very simply and easily. But there's nothing like having that raw footage to do. And it's enticing. It's exciting. Those videos look great. They do. They've always been great at them.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like you say, no reason why, again, in this day and age, it is all just about agreements and things, who can use what footage and that sort of thing. But yeah, again, 2022, why not? Let's do it. And I for one, am looking forward to it. You guys are watching this now live on YouTube. We couldn't do this when we were last around, and technology is moving on. Anyway, Stephen Bradford says, I was hoping for some meetings being streamed as I can't attend this season. First time since 1981. So ideal time, I think, for you, Stephen. But
that is absolutely gutting. I bet it is, because I feel for you, Stephen. But fingers crossed, all being well, you'll be able to stream those meetings. It will be for a fee. Hopefully they'll offer a season pass as well, which I think would be a no-brainer.
Absolutely. And again, I think we even talked about this back in the day, how cool it would be to have some sort of Game Pass type plan where you could subscribe to all of the footage from an existing team and pay individually for away matches or what have you. But again, I can't remember who it was. It was Fat Apples earlier who just said, I think it's to make more money from away clubs. How often are Berwick, Glasgow and Edinburgh going to come down and pay 100 quid on fuel and live and live when you can pay 12 quid for a live stream? Absolutely.
I think we'll get onto that in the fixtures, and I think again it's been quite clever. They sort of clubs, and I can't speak highly enough. I know I mentioned it on Twitter, but the Glasgow fans were a class apart. That playoff final. They were amazing. They lost convincingly, and they took it in good stead. They were walking around shaking all the Pool fans' hands.
Yeah.
It's the best playoff final atmosphere from both fans I've ever encountered in my time in Speedway, if I'm honest. And they were a pleasure to talk to. And a lot of them have made a weekend, they made a few days of it. They'd got a premiere in Broome, or I think some of them were staying at the George maybe, and they were going to Brownsea Island the next day, and they made a trip of it. But like you say, it will open it up to more fans who won't necessarily make the travel.
Yeah. Again, just to reiterate that, when you walk in for a playoff final and you see sort of people dressed up in the other team's colours, and you just keep your distance from them. You're going to get it. You just wait and see who wins. And then it got to the end of the match, and they were so even I think you and I would have just, if the tables were turned, would have had our heads between our legs and just like walked out, not said anything to anyone. Respect to the Glasgow fans. If anyone from Glasgow is watching this stream, amazing, great group of fans, and to travel all that way down, to be obviously disappointed, and then to just to handle it all with class and dignity, I think is the best way of putting it. Is amazing.
100%.
Ian Clark is with us. Great to have you back, guys. Is the plan still for Javi to manage the up north meetings this season? I haven't heard anything directly about that.
They are job sharing. That is confirmed. So I would assume that would still stand. It makes sense. And personally, I thought it worked very, very well. I know the riders spoke very highly of having the experience of both managers at different meetings. As far as I'm aware, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Made a lot of Craig Howell made a lot of good friends from this game. A lot of them from Edinburgh, Glasgow. They have so many positives to say about Pool. Refreshing to hear. Absolutely. As a long-term a Pool fan, you do get to be the brunt of a lot of abuse, especially online. It just comes with the territory, doesn't it? Anyways, let's get back to these riders, shall we? So we've got Danny King, Steve Worrell. Yeah, we started about 20 minutes ago with that. So Steve Worrell, Danny King, obviously top two spearheading the team. Amazing to have both of those guys back on board. And again, Danny was almost untouchable at certain points last season. Fantastic. And what better backup could you have? Someone like Stevie Worrell, who really picked up some key points for us during the year. So fantastic to have him back on board. Let's talk about the Cook brothers as well. Obviously, we know Ben. We've seen Ben battling around Pool for the last year, and now we're joined by Zach as well. I've not seen a lot of Zach, to be perfectly honest, but good to have brothers in the team.
Loves riding the Pool track, Zach. Always impressed for Plymouth when he was riding for them, and obviously it was a no-brainer signing him as a guest for our playoff at the end of our season with our injuries. He probably overshadowed Ben a little bit at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, that injury that Ben got on his leg was nasty. And he wanted to come back. He needs to earn a wage. But I do think maybe he rushed back a little bit, and you could see he was lacking a bit of confidence in those first few meetings. He was getting frustrated, and Midlow, you could see Midlow in the pits going, look, all you need to do is a bit sharper out the traps and you're there, because he was on the pace. He was just a good gate away from getting, an extra point or an extra 2 points. And we know what they can do. But I think that dynamic's going to work very well. They're used to riding with Stevie and Danny. And again, a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned for those two riders.
Yeah. So that's 4 out of the 7. We've the last rider to be announced was Richard Lawson. This name's been floating around a little while. I think there was a leaked, was it Polish or Swedish story, sort of very early in the off season that linked Richard Lawson to Pool, and then it was taken down very, very quickly. And the rumors have just been fueled since then. But again, Richard Lawson, no one wants to call him old, but his experienced campaigner, Richard Lawson, I think was how the media termed him. So, but it's great to have someone with that sort of experience. And, he's always there or thereabouts, isn't he? I think he's, a really strong addition to sort of the top 3 guys.
I know we talked about this in our green room earlier, and I wasn't sure how to approach this one. So I'm on the fence. When his name was mentioned, for me, he needs more consistency on our track. He's been dynamite when riding for another club against us. But when we've had him as a guest, he's been lackluster, for a word. I don't know that it's for a want of trying. I don't know what it is. So for me, I think if he can keep his average, great. But for me, I think it's going to be difficult for him to increase on his average. But I saw other fans on social media saying, Pool have got 3 number 1s, and that's going to be a hard push. And, Lawson was at number 1 for Plymouth. So I'd like to see what he can do, hopefully, with him becoming an asset. That's going to give him a bit more stability, and hopefully this will be a sort of a shape of things to come, and he can sort of ground himself a bit like some of the other riders we've had who fans weren't warm to, but have warmed to over the the last few years. I know people were a bit hesitant about Danny King initially, but what better captain can you have? And the form he was in, particularly sort of mid-season, was just incredible. So hopefully Richard can sort of replicate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, can't really say any more than that. It's sort of proof is in the pudding. We'll wait until the first fixture of the season and see how it goes. Basically, the last 2 riders we've got, the very successful youth riders, Drew Kemp and Nathan Ablett. Now, I don't know a lot about these guys, but again, they're coming in at the bottom end of the Pirates. Hopefully, it is a big ask for them. Of course, it is. One of them 19, one of them 17. It's going to be huge for them. But fingers crossed we get to see some good things from both of them this year.
I'm very surprised about Drew. I was very surprised when that was announced. It wasn't the rider I was necessarily expecting. But what a signing. We saw what he could do at the tail end of the season. He was beating some of our riders for fun at sort of almost heat leader, second string standard. So I think he's definitely one to watch. He's an up and coming star. He reminds me of a sort of younger Dan Bewley. And if he can replicate what Dan's done, He's got the attitude and the mentality for it. He's been
Yeah.
at the GB training camp this last week. And he is quite tall for a speedway rider. I wouldn't say he's tall for a person, but for a speedway rider, when you look at the lineup, you're not going to miss him. He's about a foot and a half taller than anybody else. But Nathan Abler, I'm afraid I don't know much about him. But,
Yeah.
Reading Dan's comments in the press, very much a work in progress. If he can sort of build on what he's at and he can grab those sort of points here and there and sort of ride to the average. I know that Dan's looking at having him on board, hopefully, rules permitting, etc., for quite a few seasons to come. So he comes quite highly recommended. Did a little stint at Eastbourne before they folded. So
yeah,
I'm excited. It is a very good blend of youth and experience. It does hinge on the middle order, though.
It does, absolutely. The same as sort of any good team, I think. You're going to have your heat leaders, and it's up to them to kind of lead the pack and set a good example for the rest of the team. Give them the support that they need. Especially Drew and Nathan are going to need. It's kind of a big ask for them to come to a team like the Pirates. I know we're only Championship rather than Premiership, but kind of the aura, we've heard riders say this before, coming on board a Pool Pirates team can be quite intimidating for some riders, especially at that age, because of again, it sounds like we're blowing smoke, but because of the success we've had, bam, you're in the Pool Pirates. It's quite a big ask for someone like that. However, my dad, he's just said with the Cook boys in, then the Holders and Brady will likely be in the pits regularly too. So again, experience coming from Chris Holder, obviously former world champion, and Jack as well. Obviously, they both know the track really well. They can give a lot of advice.
It'll be very interesting to see how that pans out this season, because when the boys were not racing against each other, they spanned for each other.
Yeah.
So when they were riding against each other, I know Jack Holder was on the spanners quite frequently for Zach when he was guesting with us, or Ben, and vice versa. So yeah, you're going to get a lot of experience in the pits with them, and I know from what Ben and Zach both said that has paid dividends. Just advice as they're setting the bikes up, what to do, and so yeah, it looks good.
Darren Baker has just said, with regards to Nathan, I was told all the lads reckon he's going to be decent. So there you go. That's from people in the know. So what better?
All I can say is, so long as there's effort there and he doesn't give up, I think he'll win the fans over. We've seen that this season, and I know you alluded to it. We're not in the Premiership anymore. So what?
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't bother me.
There's not a lot of difference. There's probably one marquee rider different to the main lineups. It's pretty much the same riders. And for me, the balance of the teams and the way they're structured in the Championship, I thought the racing was a level above, if I'm honest, this season. I enjoyed the racing so much more in this past season, hands down. I wouldn't have it another way, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it should be some exciting racing. I think that's really what kind of captured it for me last year. It did feel like it was back in the old days. Some of the Premiership stuff at points was very, very. Yeah, it felt a little bit like sort of Formula One. The person with the best car wins, and it felt very, very, very close, and you didn't really get the. I don't know, the competitive fire wasn't there, and there weren't the sort of people making errors, which makes sort of speedway exciting, and that's when people can overtake and things like that. Back in the Championship, you've got that sort of mix of riders, and you have got your people like your Danny King and your Steve Worrell in our team who have been there, done that, but then you've got the youngsters who, will make the mistakes. They're going to be learning as they go along, especially on the pool track. You've got to know where to go and, look out for certain things.
To avoid.
I wasn't going to say that, but you've got to know where to put the bike.
Can you just put Jack's comment up, the typo one, not the correction?
Raving this year has been incredible, says Jack.
It has been, and props off. I hope Carl's watching, but I got to know Carl while I was helping Nigel out a few meetings last season. I just want to say on record, Carl, I think you're doing an amazing job. Some of the music's not to my taste anymore, but it gets the crowd going. I love the sort of inspiration from the darts and the cricket coming in with like your Sweet Caroline. Obviously, we added to that Sweet Caroline with the phone torches. That was us. I am taking credit for that. We're taking credit for that. We did that on Centre Green, and it just got bigger and bigger. And thank you very much. And as the nights got darker, and we finally got the go ahead for the stadium lights the grandstand lights to get turned off. It was awesome. But I know that Carl's got ideas about presentation, and Dan's all on board for making it more sort of not theatrical, but you saw all the
giving it some hype.
The LED like strips for each team as they walked out that was to the team's colours, stuff like that, trying something different, adding value to the clients, to the crowd, the paying fans, making it more of a spectacle. And so, Carl, I know you're pivotal in that, and I know you have offered to come on the show at some point, and I dare say we'll sort of bite your hand off for that.
Absolutely. We've had Pink Tuck saying best DJ ever. Darren, agree. The DJ has been superb. And Fat Apples, the music was good this year. And then Jack's come back. We had to outdo Glasgow, and we did. Amazing. Good stuff. Okay, shall we get on to some of the in fact, just before we do that, Fat Apples, the only thing that confuses me is how was Basso going to fit into this team if Ben and Zach were already signed? Maybe another rider was meant to be a heat leader. Who knows? It's buts and maybes, really.
But Basso didn't really attain an average because he didn't do enough official meetings for us.
True. And again, I know, again, the sort of folklore is that Matt tends to put together 2 or 3 versions of the team. And it's not just going to be one rider that's changed. If one rider doesn't fit into that plan, 2 or 3 of the others aren't going to fit as well. So you'd have to sub them out for different people. So who knows what the team was going to be, when, we finished Heat 15 in the last match of last year, it could have all changed. Who knows? We'll never know. Maybe that story will leak out this year. Who knows?
Robbie Dyer's gone controversial, and I disagree.
Sweet Caroline's gone sour. Need a new theme for 2021. Just my opinion. Well, we'll make sure we sing it extra loud for Rob.
You know what it is?
Green.
I know Rob's in the pits on the mic, but you need to figure out how to use your phone light, mate, and get involved. That's what that
is. Jack said Wenger boys. I've called it
now. No, Jack, you've lost all faith now. That's it. Done.
And if Basso had stayed, then Ben Cook would have been 3rd heat leader. That's terrifying, isn't it?
Yes. Before the fixtures, I'm just conscious of how long we've been on already. And
we're 32 minutes. We're only going to do an hour.
Yeah. We were also going to talk about the opposition lineups.
Okay, should we do that quick? Because we've got
let's do some highlights. I'll tell you what, you pick a team, I'll pick a team, and then we'll see if anybody picks a team in the comments. What do you reckon?
Okay, go for it then. So I'm going to go for. I think I've kind of got an idea who you want to go for on an opposing team. I am going to go for. I'm going to go for. Let's go for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Because Newcastle, because of the old Pirates connection, we've got Paul Stark riding for Newcastle this year. Son of Iron Man. Tony Stark.
Stark reference. His dad is called Tony Stark. So
crazy times, but yeah, Paul Stark always good to us. Max Clegg, obviously James Wright, Matt Weathers, Bradley Wilson, Dean, Lee Complin, George Congreve. It looks like a solid team. Again, a lot of the teams this year do have a couple of X Factor riders who kind of aren't really, we don't know a lot about or have yet to sort of perform or impress, and it's difficult to make any predictions. That's what, looking at all of these teams, I struggle to make any real guesses as to who's going to be there or thereabouts in the at the end of the season.
Glasgow, an obvious one. Basically, to beat Poole, you buy Poole. So you buy the most improving riders from Poole, with Ben Basso and Daniel Hume. But I got to say, with Oxford making its welcome return, one of my first away meetings, Oxford was. I remember that because I was impressed at how decent their grandstand was at the time. And their facilities. Oxford are tasty. I know that a lot of people are saying it down here. If Troy Batchelor can find his form again, Oxford are going to be an incredible team. Scott Nichols rode the best I've ever seen him last season. I was gobsmacked. He was riding sort of 5-10 years younger than his age is. But you've got him, Batch, Cam Heaps, great rider. Wouldn't have minded him lining up the Pirates. Kyle Newman, we know what Kyle's about. We know how professional Kyle is and what he can do. I think he's going to be a great addition to that team in their first returning season. Jack Thomas, young lad, really good rider, really lots of potential there. Josh McDonald, love him. He was obviously meant to ride for us. Originally, before the COVID lockdown, and the team plans got thrown out the window. And then another rider I'm a fan of is Dylan Rummel. I think that team's going to be fireworks. And they're definitely going to be fireworks because their team manager's Jason Crump as well for this season.
Incredible. Lots of pirate connections.
If you're going to come back to the league, to Speedway, then do it in style. And they bloody have. I'm excited to see Oxford ride this season. And I am half tempted in the summertime, if I get some time off, I may very well go to an away fixture.
Yeah, absolutely. My dad's just said Plymouth and Oxford. Let's Plymouth. I mean, Plymouth do look ridiculously strong. I mean, obviously you've got Eddie Kennett, Hans Anderson, and Ben Barker, a solid trio there, and then you throw in, people like Alfie Botel. He's certainly turning some heads from time to time. Henry Atkins, Michael Palm-Toft, again another veteran in the league. So again, lots of stars there. I think they're going to be very solid. You never know. That's the thing with sport. Not wanting to wish injury on anyone. All it takes is one wrong turn and a rider out for the season, and it can drastically change even the strongest team. So you never really know there. But I would certainly look at Plymouth. Newcastle looks like a fun team. I don't know.
Leicester have got just depth. Yes. They are solid throughout. They haven't gone out and out. They've just gone solid throughout. Nick Morris had a really good season last year. And again, best he's ever ridden around Poole. Best total was his last meeting at Poole. It's the most he stayed on the bike. And B, it's the most points he's ever scored. It's not that I don't like Nick Morris. I like him. He's got so much potential, but he couldn't ride Poole for toffee when we were in the Elite League. And it was so pleasing to see them do well. And again, they were solid last season as well.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's too close to call. Rob's mentioned, Berwick, if they get themselves sorted, they've got a lot of potential in there. There's no real one team other than Birmingham because they haven't announced their full lineup yet.
Yeah. Only 4 riders at this point.
I can't really peg who will be. There's not one that looks like, oh god, they're going to be horrendous. They're going to be rock bottom, and that excites me for this season.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know what you're gonna. There's not going to be any sort of meetings where you turn up to
Anderson wrong. Of all people, you spell Hans Anderson wrong.
Pink Tuck says she's definitely doing Oxford away, and Nikki is excited for Oxford. There we go. I think it might be one that we do make an appearance at. That'd be nice. Well, with that in mind, then, should we flip it over to the fixtures?
Let's do it. Do your magic.
Let's have a look. There we go. It loaded. Good. Just got to change the background.
Guys, if you just want to let Lee know what the SUM means in the fixture list, because he only figured it out 5 minutes before we went on air.
Well, see, I knew about the competition, but I couldn't work out what the SUM stood for. It took me ages before I realised that it was about the summer trophy. I was like, we've got a summer trophy. What does SUM stand for on the fixtures? I didn't read the article. I looked at the pretty graphic. I'm sorry.
And it's a good graphic. I've got to say,
it's a really good graphic.
Paul stepping up social media, their marketing, all that sort of stuff. Everything's looked really, really smart and clean. I really
absolutely
like it.
Has, especially with the the rider announcements, the little pictures of the riders. That looks really good.
Yeah.
It's cool. So any of those that stick out, obviously the key one really right at the start of the season is the Bjarne Pedersen farewell. That was announced towards the end of last year. We knew that was coming.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the first match down at Wimborne Road this year. It's still going to be bloody cold. It's the 30th of March. But it'll be cool to do a little bit of a farewell to Bjarne. Have we had any rider announcements? I know Mark Dale was asking that.
Not yet. I know that there's Stuart Robson's got a testimonial or a farewell meeting,
right?
And I know that some riders are coming over from that, and I know that Nikolai Clint is riding in one of these other meetings. I would be very surprised if Nikolai Clint didn't feature in Bjarne's meeting, and I hope he does. It'd be really nice to see him back down at Wimborne Road.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree with you. Who knows? I mean, that's the benefit of, when they do these testimonials or farewell meetings, that these guys have been parts of teams with some legends over the years. And it's normally only the case of picking up the phone. Yes, absolutely. I'll be there. And we could see some real stars turn up on the 30th.
If there's one rider who you always hear the riders speak so highly of, so positively about, who's never been embroiled in any controversy, who's a consummate professional, a clean rider, a fair rider, and a great team man, it's Bjarne. So I think that's going to be a cracking way to start our season. And I do hope he gets the lineup he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Again, hopefully COVID has died down again at that point, and yeah, like you say, Bjarni can get some people in that he wants. The Oxford versus Poole match, Oxford away, Oxford at home, Poole away from home, is the 20th of April. So if, that'll be the one to stick in your diaries. We're also there on the 2nd of August.
August sounds good.
August does sound good. 3rd of August, we have the return leg, and that's in the summer trophy. So I understand.
Yes, and thank you to Mr. Clive Tyres. That is going to be the PirateCast sponsored meeting of the season.
It absolutely is. So, yeah, sure. I think we can. I mean, we're building up the old following again. Maybe we look at doing one of the Rider of the Night PirateCast Twitter voting things to try and drive up some interest. That'll be good.
Great idea.
Yeah. So if you don't know what we mean there, obviously we've got a massive following on Twitter from way back when, and Ben's still doing the updates. I think you put a poll. How many people could you have on the poll in the end? I can't remember. But you can.
I think it's 4.
Okay, so we usually go for like the top 4 scorers and sort of say, look, who do you think should be the rider of the night? The sponsor gets to present the Rider of the Night trophy, but you guys can actually vote for who you think would be the Rider of the Night. So forget what we think. You guys can vote. That would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking
Great
forward to
idea. And it worked very well. I know actually it worked so well that we were asked to do it in the we didn't have a meeting sponsor, was there? There wasn't a meeting sponsor one meeting, and
Yes.
the promotion and Nige asked us if we could do the Rider of the Night from the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Arthur Fry just chimes in. We'd love to see Chris Holder in the Bjarni Farewell. That would be nice to see him riding around Wimborne Road again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would love to see Chris Holder back around riding around that track. So yeah, anything that really stands out there. We've got the the summer trophy. Of course, that's a new set of fixtures for us here, and I mean, it's first one as far as coming to the league should be interesting, and try and get some of the people in who traditionally during the summer people are doing other things in the evening, that sort of stuff, but get some people in down to Speedway for the summer trophy.
A really good idea, by all accounts pegged by sort of Matt. I know that the promoters wanted some extra meetings within our league, and asked Matt to come up with what he thought would be a good format. And I think it's great. So you've got 3 divisions. You've got the Scottish division, which is Berwick, Edinburgh, Glasgow. The Northern division is Leicester, Newcastle, Redcar, and Scunthorpe. And then the Southern division is Birmingham, questionable, Oxford, Plymouth, and Poole. So basically, it's within those fixtures, whoever tops each group goes into a 3-team final, which is going to be held at Sheffield as a neutral track.
Yeah.
And that'll be done with 6 riders, 18 heats.
Wow.
So it sounds quite exciting. I am looking forward to this. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a good format, and hopefully it's well attended.
Yeah, absolutely. Championship Riders final on a Saturday. Full house, says Rob Dyer. Completely agree. Fat Apples has just said, sorry, where do you vote for Rider of the Night? So just make sure for now.
Not officially.
Not officially, you don't. Normally, traditionally, it's whoever sponsors the match will come down and present a trophy to who they think is the Rider of the Night. However, the way we've done it before, just make sure you follow PirateCast on Twitter and keep your eyes out for our tweets when we do our meeting on the it is the 3rd of August.
Yes.
So check that out. It's going to be good. Right. Go on.
One of the other fixtures, just quickly, 13th of July, Poole versus Glasgow at home, the revenge meeting. Obviously, we'll have faced them away beforehand in May, but that's going to be an exciting meeting. Basso returns. Will he be cheered? Will he be booed? Will his cowboy hats get thrown back on the track at him?
I was just going to say exactly that. What the hell are people going to do with those cowboy hats?
Well, to be fair, I mentioned it to your dad because those cowboy hats are just bucket hats folded up with buttons on them. And Drew Kemp wears a bucket hat.
Okay, so just get the poppers down.
Poppers down, Drew Kemp. There you go.
Brilliant. There we go.
Sorry, nice. Dan, I've just cost you a fortune in the track shop.
Repurposing. That's what you need. Good Friday meeting versus Oxford is a 6 p.m. start at the moment. So there we go. Good Friday. That's going to be.
It's Good Friday. Yeah. I was thinking, I'm not going to go there, but yeah.
Why the hell not? Why the hell not?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So yeah, that's the fixtures. Everything available over on pool-speedway.com, and there's so much stuff over there. Again, we've talked about Danny's kind of influence on the promotion and how that the Pirates have kind of been dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st century in the kind of social media and the online presence. And it has been night and day really over the last couple of years, hasn't it? Yeah. The sort of graphic style that's translated into the program, video coverage, that sort of stuff. It's all only going to get better this year. The other thing, of course, to point out is the press and practice day. Yeah, has officially been announced. That was announced yesterday. Friday, the 25th of March. Is the annual press and practice day, and again, I think that's members of the media, sponsors, and season ticket holders. So, if you are a season ticket holder, you can come down and check out press and practice day. I don't think there's any word at this stage whether or not it's going to be open for fans towards the end of the day. Let's have a look. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that. And again, you've got to bear in mind still the COVID situation. They're not going to just bung a load of people in one place just for the sake of it.
But again, on Friday, though.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely, yes, yes, very, very good. And of course, your 2022 season tickets you can get from the website. There is a post there. 2022 season tickets on sale now, and you can still go ahead and get your tickets for the 2022 season. Cool. So do you want to? We also have an announcement to make on the show, Ben. We got this sent over by Rob Dyer earlier in the week. Do you want to read this out? Because it's kind of very close to our hearts and close to the club's heart as well.
Many thanks to Rob for letting me know this and for us to be able to announce it. But it's with a heavy heart that after 20 years of doing it, Stan and Val are going to step down from running the Riders Equipment Fund. Anybody who's new, who doesn't know about it, you can basically become a member. And I'll be honest, I can't remember the set amount a year it is for a season. But you can pay towards the ref. There are social events held, and I know that they are looking, hopefully, with restrictions permitting, to do a quiz. Is it a quiz? A quiz night on the evening of press and practice. So there will be a social event. Yeah. So that's normally a £5 to get in if you're not a member, and £4 if you are. I can't remember. It's been so long since we've done a ref event.
Yeah,
but
keep your eye on social media.
The Riders Equipment Fund is set up by the fans for the fans. All monies raised from the membership, any events that are held during the season, gets handed out to the riders, both evenly, but also if a rider's had a bad crash, written off some equipment. I know most of the riders actually received £500 checks last season from the ref. They also look after their members, so you stand a chance of actually being the person who presents the check to the riders on the parade, and you get pictures throughout the season, things like that. Stan and Val do an absolute cracking job, but Stan, bless him, he's had a few scares in the last few years, and he's still going, and I'm so pleased that he's still going, because those two are absolute stalwarts of Poole Speedway. What they need is people to step up, 3 or 4 reliable new people to come forward to take over the ref. The riders can't speak highly enough about it. Me as participating, I can't speak highly enough about it. Unfortunately, my working commitments at the moment, I can't commit to doing the ref as much as I would like to. But they realise now it's time to embrace social media, and that they're not the people that can do that. And to be fair, they've done their service. And it would be a real shame to see the ref fold. It's such a really good source of income for the riders. It's great in the off season when there's no pandemic, with social events to catch up, do a few quizzes, have a bit of a laugh. Although people weren't towards the end because we won quite a lot. Sorry, I had to win. But there's also, meet the riders. Some of the riders that have been signed come along. Matt comes along. Midlow comes along. It's just a chance to talk Speedway and keep it alive throughout the season. So they're looking for 3 or 4 new reliable people to take over the ref, do it sort of take over from it seamlessly. So I'm assuming that they will still be on hand this season to help with the transition.
I would have thought so, yeah.
But unfortunately, they're saying that members have gradually reduced, and that's part of them, because all there is something in the program with a phone number and Nigel promoting it. as and when he can. I know that they have a social media account, and Rob helps with that. And there are posts from the pool ref. But it would be great to get someone who's pretty good on social media, and that's a no-brainer. It's quite easy to do. You'll be able to get a good recruitment drive if you target it properly. We will, of course, support anything that is done by the ref, and promote it as well, and promote the account to help with that. But we're really looking, and I'm really hoping that some of the stalwart PirateCast followers, and even any of you new guys who want to take a shot at it, if you can't be down there every week, it's not a problem, so long as you can commit to helping the ref and helping it continue. And that's my plea, really. We don't ask for much from you guys. We ask for a click here or a retweet here. If some of you can step up and help take over the ref from Stan and Val, it would be incredible. So, put your names in. Anyone who's interested, they have asked to use the phone, and their phone number, and they don't mind me giving it out. I hope they don't mind me giving it out on YouTube. Is 01202691143. Please get involved. If you can't remember the number, watch it back on here. If you want the number, message us on Twitter. Thank you very much. Message us on Twitter, and the number's down. Sorry, it's that way, isn't it? Down there. Get in touch with us, or get in touch with the Pool Ref Twitter account, because I know that Rob will only be too happy to pass the details on, and then you can arrange a phone call, start having a chat, and get together. But please, please, if we can get some volunteers, 3 to 4 people is all it takes. And with social media nowadays, a recruitment drive could be quite simple to do and really help the riders in the club.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you can't really have any better representatives for the club than Stan and Val. But it is time, as you mentioned with Stan's sort of health scares, it is time for them to step back and not have so much on their plate at this point. And again, it does need something to or someone to just again pull it into that 21st century, attract a lot of people, get some sort of recurring subscriptions, and get it all online, that kind of stuff. Get everything, get some of the more sort of the newer fans involved, and how the message works, that it does actually help the riders. And if someone, one of our young kids, one of our 2 new reserves, if they blow up an engine on the first race of the first in the first meeting of the new season, that's a huge problem for them. Someone like Danny King, even though that'll be a bit of a dent in the wallet, they've probably got 2 or 3 engines sat around that they could use, and it's not the end of the world. But some of these younger guys, it's really help, a real help to them. It does support the whole team as well. But as Ben says, when you do have those crisis moments, it really does help these individuals. So definitely check it out. The number is right down there. Call Stan and Val on that number if you are interested to. There you go, you've got it.
Hand in goal, Marty McFly.
That's, oh my god, your finger's gone.
I'm getting erased from existence. Sorry.
Oh dear. There we go. Fat Apples. I love the club, but that PA system was probably around when White City were riding.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to comment on that.
You can't really say anything about that, can you?
Just ask Craig Hurl. He stands on turn 3 and has to message me for heat times.
Yeah. Speak to Jack about that. He could probably have a word and get something organised. Yes, Mandy, there will be a pirate joke coming up very shortly.
No, there won't. We're ending it. I'm gonna end the show before that happens.
Is there anything else you want to say about the sort of council plans and how fans can get involved and have their say?
Yeah, some of you may have seen, those that follow us on social media, that the council is doing a local plan consultation. Within that, obviously, the council own the stadium. But there was a caveat where it was gifted by Lord and Lady Wimborne to have either football or speedway or both featured. That is in jeopardy. Matt openly needs your help. Danny openly needs all fans' help for their voices to be heard. So there is a consultation. There is a link, which I've posted before. If you click on it, it's very long-winded. You don't have to answer everything. It's just looking for the bits that it's relevant to. And again, that's even more difficult in which area it will form part of. So there's 2 areas which it could be, is Pool Town Centre, so regeneration of town centre, but also community facilities and services under providing infrastructure. It says about improving sports facilities, but there's no mention of Pool Stadium. So there are plans that were batted about earlier 2 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, a couple
that
of
had
years.
a redevelopment for the stadium with flats, and then they had a new stadium, but they had a sort of speedway track and a green on it. I don't know how the flats would work with a speedway meeting, if I'm perfectly honest, but who am I? Now, Poole Town, by all accounts, although they've renovated their playing pitch, they've been taken over, and the guy wants in. He wants a stadium. But one thing we've got to let the council know is, we get up to 2,000 people through the door every week at Speedway. We get media coverage at Speedway week in, week out because of how successful we are. Mainstream media coverage, local media coverage, local press, social media. We're an extremely successful club. We're a professional club. We always come across well when we're on televised meetings. We get a lot of exposure because of how successful we are. Poole Town get up to 400. So, it's ultimately you as a fan's choice to have your voice heard about why hasn't Poole been mentioned? What's the future for Poole Speedway? Yep. We want to make sure that Poole Speedway has a place to play. And I did it in the sports one. And yes, Poole Stadium isn't mentioned. And we need to make our voices heard to the council. Matt needs us to make our voices heard to the council. Danny needs our voices to be heard. Please, please, please take the time to click on it. Now, word of advice, don't do it on your phone. I know it's convenient on a phone, but if you do it on a phone, it's going to be a nightmare to navigate. Do it on a tablet or do it on a computer if you have those. If you don't, then please do it on your phone. Have your say and make sure you make them aware that Speedway is bigger in the town of Poole than football.
Yeah.
If you want football, go to Bournemouth. They're a successful club. And again, very professional. And I know that Matt's worked with Bournemouth before. And I'm not saying Poole Town should go under. They've got a facility. They've got a facility that's purpose built for them, and that works. And worst case scenario, do both, but it can't be one over the other. No. Speedway needs to survive in the town of Poole. It has been here. We're one of the great names in Speedway, and it would be heartbreaking to lose our ground. You've seen it. Coventry, Oxford have just come back, but thankfully they did come back.
Years.
Reading. Swindon, there was questions over. I know they're still waiting on their new stadium. Which is going ahead. But, I know people are starting to murmur about that. Housing is needed. Flats are easy with no parking. Don't let the stadium, a Speedway track be lost. Yes, we might have to move, but at least there will be a track for Speedway if the council can see the fans' responses.
And again, the crowd you get in Poole Stadium at the moment for Speedway is one thing, but when you're looking to try and attract sort of like the younger generation in, a nice brand new shiny stadium, that makes it even more exciting night out. And a lot easier to market when you've got something to sell like that. So fantastic. Totally echo those words. Get your voice heard. So we plan to go an hour tonight. Our little counter at the top there says 58 minutes and 42 seconds. So we're pretty much there.
But it started at a minute when the vid ran,
so
I think.
57 minutes. Yeah,
so I think we're all right.
We're all right. Now,
thank you for staying with us for an hour as well, because
absolutely.
I think an hour is too long personally, but it is our first show back.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to cover, and to be fair, we have rushed some of it. So I think we've done pretty well. So thanks for sticking with us. If you didn't stick with us through the whole show, you won't be listening now. But anyway, it's all going to be on YouTube anyway, the archived version of it, so you can watch this back on YouTube if you want to check that out. We're not going to be doing this every single week. It was one of the things that crippled us a little bit before. Is trying to stick to a schedule, and Ben and I work in different times and different hours, and we never knew when we were going to be available, and sort of aligning us was a bit difficult. So we're not going to be doing this every week. We're not necessarily going to be doing it on the same night, especially during the Speedway season, because we're doing this on a Wednesday. So all I can say is stick with us. Stay tuned to us on socials. They're all down the bottom there. PirateCast.live for now will get you to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Please turn on your notification bell. Facebook / the PirateCast. And on Twitter, we are at PirateCast. And make sure you head on over to shop.piratecast.live. And you can get hold of a PirateCast t-shirt or hoodie or whatever you want. There's lots of options there. You can even get a mug. How cool is that? So there we go. We've done it. We've done episode 1.
We survived.
We did survive.
I
Thank
don't
God.
think we dropped. Hopefully, we didn't drop out. I don't think we dropped out because it would have shown
No.
on the comments. Because I know you
I
were
mean,
worried about your broadband. So
yeah, like today, my broadband is normally crystal clear, fine, but EE today has been an absolute nightmare, and it keeps switching me off. But no, I think we've made it through. Jenny Elliott, nice to have you back as well. There she is. Nice comment. Nice to have you back. There we go. Thanks to Jenny for commenting. So that's it. Apart from one thing, Ben, we're going to bring back the tradition. Every single show.
Let's get this straight. It's not we, you.
No, we're
you.
Well,
You are bringing it back.
It's a PirateCast tradition. I'm going to say that. So I always used to finish the old show with a pirate joke. And you can go, if you want some pirate jokes, piratejokes.net.
Don't let people steal your material. You'll run out.
Here we go. And this is, it's an awful joke, but it's so bad, it's good. What did the pirate say when he couldn't find his ship?
Sorry. You did say ship, right? Yeah.
I said ship. What did the pirate say when he couldn't find his ship?
I don't know.
Where the hell is my ship?
So
it's on.
That's a pirate joke because the word pirate's in it.
Exactly. It could be anything. What does Chris Holder say when he couldn't find his ship? Where the hell's my ship? That's what he'd say.
Happy Australia Day, everyone, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, forgot that.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone, guys. It's been great to have you all here. Thanks for staying with us.
I'll get a tumbleweed sound effect ready for the next one.
Ready for next time, yeah. Good one. Thanks for sticking with us. Beth's in the chat room. Hello, Beth.
Hey, hello, Beth.
Beth with a broken ankle at the moment. Unfortunately, she's recouping. She had a big tumble on the first bend.
I told you not to try swinging from the cinema after seeing Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah, she did, unfortunately. There we go. But thank you very much indeed for sticking with us. We're going to be back with lots more. Thank you for bearing with us.
Oh,
yes, absolutely. Oh, that way.
Okay. Up there. Just up there. There we are.
Amazing. Cool. Right. Thanks very much, guys, for sticking with us. Make sure you comment on the video. Anything you can do, any supports, any retweets, anything like that. It would be great. Thank you very much for sticking with us. And we'll see you guys next time. Ben, stick with me. I'm going to talk to you again afterwards. So stick with me after the outro. See you later, guys.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
guys.